Hey everybody, it's Paul again from Stretching Canada. Happy Monday and welcome back. I'm trying to catch up from last week, last Wednesday, when the sound was all crazy. I have no idea how to change that. I hope it's different this time. I've gone through a number of tests and they all seemed fine, so I'm guessing, I'm assuming, something I try not to do, but I'd like to go back to the variations of oh, hey Jeff, wow, long time no see. Jeff, I'm in touch with Jamie Tannehill and a bunch of other folks. We should connect. Anyway, I'm going to go back to the stretches that we were doing last week, last Wednesday, when the sound was crazy. And I'm going to try and follow it up. Now, we've been doing some very precise movements, and I want to try and add on to those precise movements so that we're able to take them to more of a functional movement and functional stretching and strengthening. So the first ones were, it's really about the shoulder girdle and the movement of the shoulder girdle as it pertains to the neck and the passageways of our air and how we can move our bodies in such a way so that the neck and shoulders can support themselves. This came from last week. I had a number of emails for people that were working at home. How did it go? Oh yeah, there were a number of emails. They all basically said the same thing. Oh, hello everybody. Hello Kelly and Michelle. The emails were, I'm working at home and I'm working in less than optimal ergonomics, and I'm finding myself at a table and I'm kind of getting lazy and I'm doing this, where at work I wouldn't do that because I'm sort of under, everyone's kind of presenting themselves well. So I find myself getting into these collapsed positions and the belly isn't working as well and the neck is falling forward. And this is a problem for a lot of people where we're anteriorly flexed and internally rotated, whether we're washing dishes, driving a car, working at a computer, it's all the same. And I wanted to try and offer some stretches that would undo those things. Hello Neil, nice to see you. Hey Paul, my pizza man from down the street. Best pizza in town, FF Pizza. All right, so not that I ate pizza. Okay, pizza. So let's go back to the rhomboids. Now we're doing these precision stretches. Now everything is going to maintain the same routine where you're up through your body, your trunk is long, your neck is long, and then with a slight chin tuck. And if you imagine a chin tuck being, you're just trying to hold a small ball or an apple under your chin, so you're not choking yourself like this. You're just being long, chest is wide, ribs are down, and then tuck the chin in. And that's going to be the posture that we're going to try and maintain. So before we were doing this, which means shoulder blades are into your back pockets, and then coming across and reaching under, and then. So we'll just do 3 because then after those third ones, we're going to get into the variations. 1, 2, and you can comment if I'm shrugging too much or not. And 2, and then palm up, slicing across, assisting with my left hand, pulling out and in. So that way, and then towards me. And then the next 3, I'm going to rotate my palm down, and if you can, thumb down. Shoulder blades are down, coming across. Now I'm going to come from the top, and I'm going to pull out and down, and I'm going to aim my thumb towards the outside, which means the hips are still square to say the camera or the mirror, your reflection. So there's no rotation here, but there is a rotation here. So I'm coming across, reaching out down, and then slight side lateral bend, aiming my thumb towards the outside of my ankle. Let's do 5, so that's 1. Reaching across, out, down. Hips are still square to the direction I'm facing. So now, I've gone from this precision movement of the external rotators, rhomboids, maybe the supraspinatus a little bit, to the upper serratus, posterior serratus, latissimus dorsi, and lower lats as I come down into this rotation. 1, 2, last one. I'm going to go straight into the variation. Emanuela, hello. And then, so again, long, neck long, chin slightly tucked in, so I'm holding a small apple. And then chest is wide, ribs are down, rotate an internal rotation, so my thumb's going down, reaching across, and this time, instead of reaching from here, I'm going to reach from the top, I'm going to help myself into a rotation, but not through the hips, and down to the opposite, outside of the opposite ankle. So this stays square. Trunk can rotate. Shoot. And on my exhale, reach, rotate, and extend down. And getting this whole line down through here. And one more. And across. And pulling out. And down. Nice. Breath in, breath out. Now we're going to get into the serratus muscles, where last week we were just doing this basic arm raise, which gets into the serratus, the four upper and lower serratus, well, there's four up here, four down here, and some of the latissimus dorsi. But if I can add, now you can do this standing, you can do this seated, and if you are seated, think about the two sit bones, the two tuberosities, going through the chair and into the floor, so we're not kind of whoa, doing this. You want to make sure you're completely stable on that chair. If you want, it's not any harder or any easier. You can do this kneeling, so that's harder to compensate. It's harder to get into this compensation pattern with the hips. I'll do it seated because it's probably a little easier. I'll do some seated and some kneeling. How's that? Oh, is that Luca cursor? Hello, Luca. I just did Luca's t-shirt. I'm wearing his t-shirt. I just did his workout doing the 28-day, what is it called? Transformation class. It's an amazing class, an amazing teacher, an amazing company. And I highly recommend it for anybody that's ready to make a transformation in their lives, physical or otherwise. Alrighty, so I'm sitting, I'm stable, hips are down through the floor, the chair into the floor, feet are flat, not on a pad. And I'm going to go through the same idea with the serratus, that side lift and trying to reach behind. So this is what we were doing last week, coming up. But now let's add the same kind of lateral movement. So the hips don't move, it's a rotation from T9, which is about where the bra strap would be or behind the sternum. And I'm lifting and I'm reaching. So now I'm going from serratus into the muscles underneath the subscapularis, serratus muscles, as well as the subscapularis in the same region, as well as the latissimus dorsi, and some of the muscles in the back, the rhomboid, serratus posterior, superior and inferior. And then now, if you want, if you think about a needle coming out the front of the sternum, if I rotate to the right, the needle goes to the right. You can add maybe 10, 15 degrees, same idea, same stretch, different fibers. It just opens up a little bit more from those lateral lines into more oblique muscles in the quadratus lumborum, the muscles that hip the hike the hip. So for me, the lateral wasn't doing anything, so I'm just going to add that little bit of a rotation, still reaching to the far corner of the room and assisting with my arm a bit away and a bit of the weight of my arm down. So I'm reaching, I'm doing all the action here. Left arm, just sort of the weight of my arm down and forward. Still bracing in the front, so I'm not hyperextending and I'm not contracting. One more. And just to be on the safe side, I'll start as a lateral movement. Again, brace through, lock through the chair, brace in the front, reaching to the side. Now, I've done this a couple of times today with clients, and I've done this in another video. I did some workout with Luca in the kettlebell club, and I did a warm down, so I'm really loose. So I'm gonna, if this isn't really working for me, there's no sense in continuing. I'm gonna add something to see where I can really find a proper stretch. So I'm gonna add, I'm gonna say that's about 15 degrees. Again, not getting much of a stretch. I'll add another 5 or 10 degrees. Now I'm feeling something through the quadratus lumborum into the hip. Because we're doing a lot of squats and a lot of push-ups from the squats and lifting the kettlebells. And one more. So, and again, you can do this, kneeling. It's exactly the same thing. You're just reaching and being stable or adding that rotation one way or the other. Okay, so from here, let's go back into the cervical spine. Ugh. And now, here's where you're going to need a slight assist. If you have a towel, or a tea towel, grab that, and if you don't, I'll show you a variation of how to do this without needing that support. However, I learned this about 40 years ago. I had a terrible bike accident. I was training for a triathlon. It was late at night. I didn't see a person open his van door, and it was before helmets. Not that a helmet would have helped, I don't think. And I was up off the saddle, and I was doing this, and then bam! And my spine is quite compromised. It's not straight. And even though I've been working at it for a number of years, one of the things that I learned 40 years ago was this. And, a question. Hi, William. Oh, William, hey, how are you? You're welcome. God, it's been so long. What was I saying? Oh yeah, I want to be able to sort of extend back, so I'm using the muscles back here that we're just about to stretch. So we're going to stretch the muscles first, but not in the same way that we were doing before, which is tucking the chin in, reaching down, and then gently assisting. It's going to be no assisted pressure at all. So maybe from the side it'll look a little different. So if you think about it like, you know, here's my little ball or my apple. I'm tall through the spine, tall through the back of the neck. And then the chin tuck is like you're just holding a small apple or a small ball. And that's going to help. The chin tuck is going to help maintain the length of the back of the neck. The occipital ridge will pull up. You'll feel, so that you're not dropping down and you're not pulling back. You're just pulling, you're pulling up. You're just pulling this chin straight back. So what it'll look like from the side is inhale, exhale, and pull the chin in, and you'll see the occipital ridge rise up and then back to neutral, but not collapsing back to neutral. Maintain this neutral spine. On your out breath, tuck in. We'll do 5 like that. That's the start. So, breath in, stay tall, chin tucked in, and you'll feel that start to pull down to, this is C7, T1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, maybe 9 even. I'm feeling it down to C6, T6 between the shoulder blades, and I lost my count on the way to 5. Let's say this is 4. I'm just feeling it sort of translate from T6 to 7, and then, so sometimes this is enough, and I learned how to do this a long time ago, and it's a really basic stretch, and it's very helpful, so you're not really forcing anything. Because sometimes when we're hurting back here, it's because we're being pulled forward from everything that we do is anteriorly flexed and internally rotated. Whether it's like the people that wrote to me last Monday about, I'm bending forward, I'm doing this at my laptop, and I'm looking off to the side with the numbers and then coming back and getting really lazy. And they find that this is the problem. The problem is that these muscles are overworked and they're not strong enough to support that weight. So I want to stabilize those muscles, not so much just strengthen them. I want to open and optimize and then immediately stabilize them. So we're going to get into the stretch that we were doing before, but no active assist. So the idea is, on your out breath, tuck in, reach down, breathe out. 1, 2. You might not go very far, but the second one, you're going to go back to the same end range, tuck in, reach down, get to the same end range, and just with a tiny little bit more effort, reach down a little bit further. I'm talking millimeters, maybe microns. It's still progress. Tuck in, reach down, breathe out. I'm going to do 2 more. Back to neutral, so you're looking straight ahead in the mirror if you're looking in a mirror, or your reflection of some sort. And tuck in, reach down. Now I'm feeling it to T9, down between my shoulder blades. Hello, Jason. And the last one, tuck in, reach down, breathe out. Again, no assisted pressure. And keeping the body straight so you're not collapsing in the front. And now, here's the thing. If I want to extend back, I'm perfectly fine to do it until I get to a certain point, and then the compression in my spine becomes very uncomfortable. My brain says, nah, not much fun, don't want to do it. However, there's two ways. Now, this is where I was saying you can use a towel or a tea towel, preferably one that is not just being used. It's not that bad. And what I would do is I would put it around my C7T1 junction, and I'm going to press down kind of diagonally and then slowly work my way up. But as I work my way up, here's the key again, that this doesn't, you're not trying to fix one problem and then start another by hyperextending in the back. So I'm going to pull down. Actually, it is in need of laundry, so I'll use something a little cleaner. So, pulling down and forward, and now I'm going to keep that erect posture, tuck in, the chin in, and on your out breath, keep that chin tucked in. You're not going to go as far up or back as you might think, but you're still going to use these muscles to raise the head, pull the head back. You know, 1, 2. Now, if this isn't enough, which it's not, because I've been doing it 3-4 times this morning already, I'm going to tuck in and then reach back a little bit, and then I'm going to start to come up, maintaining contact with C7T1, and then look up. But now I can feel myself falling apart here. I need to brace that and continue using the muscles here to raise myself up. But I'm still supporting with the towel and back to neutral. So I'll go breath in. On my out breath, tuck in, reach up. And this is less of a stretch in the front as much as it is strengthening in the back. I'm going to do 2 more. Tuck in, reach up, brace in the front, ribs down. And I'm sort of looking at small landmarks, dust bunnies on the ceiling to be precise. And I look past dust bunny 1 and 2 and got to dust bunny 3. Yeah, my house cleaning skills in COVID isolation isn't as good as I thought it was going to be. So now this is one way to do it. Now if you don't have something handy like that, you can easily do the same thing. Now if I'm collapsing here in the front with my elbows resting on my knees, what I'm trying to avoid is letting the front drop and this collapse in the back. I want to engage in the front, so I'm engaging in the low back, so I'm pulling this in, and I'm maintaining this long posture that I had seated all the way down into this posture here. Meaning that the neck is still long, and now I'm going to tuck my chin up to the ceiling, tuck in, and then allow the head to drop. So you never disengage any of this. This is always engaged, and you'll get a more concentrated stretch. So again, tall, long to the neck, chin tucked in, chest is wide, engaged in the belly, ribs are down, and now on my out breath, reach down. Maintain the chin tuck, and then you can try the difference between just letting your head drop down and then lifting your head, and you'll feel the compression here, but when you're engaged through the entire spine and your chin is tucked in, lifting up, you'll feel yourself pulling down through T6, the muscles in the middle of the scapulae. So again, I'll do a set of 3, tuck in, stretching the muscles in the back. Breath in, and on my out breath, keeping the chin tucked in and lift. Lift, lift. So, one more, did I say 3? 2 more. And engaged here, so engaged here. And 1 more. Chin tucked in, allow the head to go down, eccentric contraction, but still a good stretch. Breath in. Chin tucked in, and then lift. So, yeah, so the idea with that is that you don't need to have something to stabilize you in order to strengthen those muscles and maintain contact with those muscles in the back. And the idea, is, of course, is to elongate the spine so you'll feel yourself lifting from a very different place. The last one I want to show you is if you're already on the floor, maybe I'll leave that as a diagonal. I should probably change the angle. Hello Karima, how are you Karima? Yeah, how are you? So the idea, it's exactly the same. You know, you're engaged all the way through. Now, if I'm in a quadruped position, I want to make sure that my back isn't collapsing. And the way I'm going to do that is pull my belly into the spine, keep my ribs down, so I'm engaging in the back, I'm fully engaged through the spine. I'm going to push my arms, my hands away from my body, so I'm protracting my shoulder blades outside, so I'm fully engaged, bottom, middle, and top. And I'm going to tuck my chin in up to the ceiling, and then down with the head. You might not go very far. Back to neutral, tuck your chin in, and then lift. Again, if you're lifting with just the neck muscles, you encourage that cervical curve, which is not wrong. I'm just trying to get you to stabilize further down, that's all. Okay, pushing away, engage. come back to neutral, tuck in, and then lifting up. Might not go very far. I'm going to use my eyes to try and guide me up, back to neutral. Breath in, and on my out breath, tuck in, reach down. One more. And up. Ooh, I lost my chin tuck. And then chin tuck in, down, stretch that out, back to neutral, breath in, chin tuck, and lift through the muscles in the middle of the scapula. So now let me show you something that I can add to that. Hello, Jordan. Long time no see. This is going to be muscles that are sort of part of that shoulder girdle that enable us to sort of brace in the front and use the arms through the shoulder girdle and under the scapula. And one of the stretches that, or the strengthening I'll do, I can use either a strap or tubing. It's a little bit harder because it's harder to maintain the contact of the elasticity. But here, it just shows me that I'm engaged the whole time, because if I'm not, I get this. I get that collapse in the middle. And I'm about shoulder height, maybe a little wider than shoulder height, and be strong in your feet. So you're actually externally rotating your thighs a little bit. And then I can start here. I'll just do a couple, so you'll see the rhythm that I'm working at. And on my out breath, again, long, chin tucked slightly, chest is wide, ribs are down, and brace in the front. I'll do 1, 2, maybe 3 to here. And on the third one, stay, breath in, and then on my out breath, reach up. And I might just get to, oh, I don't know, what's that, 80-something degrees, making sure I'm sort of braced in the front and I'm not hyperextending. And then breath in, and then reach back, maintaining the front, the ribs down, and back to that released, relaxed position. And I'll do a third one here. So when I'm not allowed to hyperextend in the back or extend from that thoracolumbar joint, I'm really using the muscles that hold that shoulder girdle together. And from this, this is the external work. You can do an internal work by arms are straight, not gripping the roller. So when your arms are straight, you kind of, when you're not gripping, we tend to bend a little bit and undo the strength of our arms. So arms are straight, and the same exact thing, you know. And then on the out breath coming to here, and then on the next set, reaching back as far as you can. Same idea. To get a bit of a mobilization in there, going back to this, the idea is, and you can do the same thing, pushing on the roller, coming up to here, and it's raising one arm, coming up all the way to the top, and then dropping to the side, dropping the arm, reaching around, keeping the shoulders and the hips square, raising up. So now it's more of a mobilization. I'm just going to get this out of my way. So again, I've gone through this transition all the way up and then reaching as far back as I can while my ribs are still down. I'm going to come down one side, and whatever's up now drops down the front, rotates around, but the trunk doesn't rotate, and then up in the front, back to the center, both sides. And I can do 3 sets of this, and then reverse the same action. So these are all exercises that you can do. I'm going to post this on YouTube and then back onto Facebook as a slower version, but I wanted to be able to get all this out there for you in ways that you can open and optimize the muscles, strengthen them immediately, and then go into a strength mobilization routine that's utilizing the shoulder girdle and opening up and optimizing the muscles of the neck. So you can get into these compromised positions and sustain it for a little longer than we normally do. And it's just a weird time for us all. It's hard to work, at less than optimum. I do the same thing here on my dining room table or at the kitchen island, or some messed up drawing table. I get my computer there and I find myself doing this, and I'm on a roll and I just can't be bothered to undo it. And after a while, I really feel the difference. I go and do something normal, like go for a walk or walk downstairs or lift a kettlebell, and it's like, oh my gosh, I'm really compromised in the back. And so that's where this came from. And it touched me because enough people wrote in saying exactly the same thing. So I hope this can help, and I hope everyone's doing really well, and I hope everyone's surviving the bizarreness of the the isolation and the ongoing, hello, Stephen. Wow, long time no see, Stephen. It's been days and days. Yo, Jared, hi. I hope everyone's doing well and that you're surviving this. And if you're having a hard time, and I've had a couple of days where it's been, I'm not quite sure, this is really irrational and unreasonable of me to respond like this. I just reached out to somebody that, I just asked a question, asked them to help, and they did. And it just took a phone call. So if you have my phone number, call me. If you want to connect with me here, connect away. We'll just chat. Sometimes all it takes is to hear yourself say the words and realize, this is kind of irrational, but I'm really glad you were there to hear me out. So I'm here for you. And I love you all. And I hope to see you again on Wednesday. I hope the sound is okay. Let me know if it is, and let me know if it's not. Okay.